I've told this over many times. You know, the Chafetz Chaim writes that life is like a postcard. It's cute, mashal. Life is like a postcard. Why do you think life is like a postcard? Well, what? Short. That's a good one. It's a good start, but like, It goes places. Well, that wasn't exactly what he gave as the example. It's like a postcard because when you write a postcard, in the beginning, at the top, you write dear, dear, whatever it is, in real big letters, and then you write a little bit more, and then soon you realize, oh my gosh, I've got so much I need to write, and you start
running out of space.
And what do? Smaller and smaller, because you're trying to squeeze it in. So he goes, that's life. In the beginning, I got all this time, and everything's great. Then as time goes on, you start writing more and packing in more and trying to do more, because you realize, there's a great man who passed away almost a month ago in where I learned in Koilel. It's a great rabbi, Rav Yankel Cohn. Rav Yankel Cohn was like very, very amazing Talmud Chacham. In fact, Rav Chaim Kanievsky said about him, he did not imagine that there were Talmidei Chachamim in America. He didn't realize it could be Shaykh, a Talmud Chacham as great as him in America. He didn't say it to him, he said it about him. He goes, I couldn't imagine in America they could have such Talmidei Chacham. Yankel was a huge masmid. He was a very normal guy. He played ball. Back when he was a bacher, he was a great baseball player. Really. He was a shortstop. Incredible. They said he was an incredible baseball player. And he was a great basketball player. And a great swimmer. And diver. And he was like all around. But he was also, by far, not just the biggest masmid, but he gave it so much of his kaichas. And then when he got married, he made a deal with his wife. He is allowed to learn and not be bothered. So he stayed in the Beis Medrash till, and they lived by the yeshiva, and he learned in the Beis Medrash every night till like 3 a.m. He would write his notes on all of his chedushim. And I knew him many years later, because my chavrusa and him were old buddies, old friends. And he would come over to my chavrusa, and he would ask him, my chavrusa, he would call him, I need an address. I need an address. So my chavrusa, smile, closed his eyes and said, okay. And he'd say, where does it say this? And he would just go, 3 places. It says it over there, it says it over there, it says it there, that's it. He says, okay. And where is Taisa speak about it the most? He goes, well, you'll look up the 3 places, but it says, that's where the main Taisa is, but there's a Taisa over there, it argues. That's the way it was. They would come over, and he would come over and try all of his kedushim with them. So I used to speak to him every day. They were much older. They were 30 years older than me. So Yankel had, after he got married and his wife decided she wanted to move to the Heights, Cleveland Heights, where a lot of people move to, he said, I'm not leaving the yeshiva. How am I going to leave the yeshiva? Because when we got married, we decided that's going to be a focus. So he made up a deal that he would stay in yeshiva 3 nights a week. So he would come on Sunday, stay Sunday night, go home Monday night, go back in the morning and spend Tuesday night in yeshiva. Then he would go back home for Wednesday night, be back in yeshiva for Thursday night. So he had his own room in the yeshiva, in the dormitory, where he slept there for I don't know how many years, maybe 50 years. That was his room. And the guys would come to talk to him and learning. You could come all the time, and he was a very interesting person, fascinating person, and that's what I'm telling you. Rav Chaim Kanievsky said about him, I did not think there could be such a Talmud Chacham in America. In fact, we got a couple Svarim here, written on the Mishkan, and Machaber wrote them with Reb Yankel Cohen as a person who we could talk to in learning. And he spent tremendous, amount of time and effort making sure that everything would be so clear and people could understand it. You found it? Where is it? What is it? Oh yeah, those are them. Is that what it says? The Mishkan? Yeah, that's right. Those two over there. Here, bring it over. Thank you. So, he had, I cannot tell you how many, over the years, how many hundreds of notebooks. How many hundreds of notebooks? How many hundreds of notebooks that he had. You'll see over here, it writes a whole thing about him. Because he learned with him b'chavrusa, many times. For 20 years, that's what it says here. Kvar Yosem Esrim Shana Sharava Gain Rabbi Yisrael Yaakov Kain Shlita Oimel Limini Lahashiveni Al Sheiloisai Ben Yanim Anal V'Oisekimi Harbe Me'oi B'Pilpula Shel Torah Ad Al Kamat Kol Inyan V'Inyan Levarei Heitev V'Oisev V'Tikin Dvarim Merubim. Yep. And by the way, he thanks a lot of people here, including, let's see, I'm looking around. Mr. Rottenberg. Where's Mr. Rottenberg? Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay. Thanks to your grandfather also for helping him out a little bit on the Sefer. But why do I tell you? It's an interesting thing because he had hundreds of notebooks of his Chedushim. Hundreds. Fascinating stuff. Really interesting shiurim he could give on any sugya. And he was a really geschmack balmazra. People loved to hear him give a shiur because he was geschmack. And it would be interesting, and it would be something always, big chiddush, something different. He was a fascinating person. And he did not print a single sefer in all the years. Not a single one. However, he got cancer, and in the last year, he decided to start printing svarim and sit down and start writing stuff up. Problem is, he's so sick. He was so sick, and there was no one to talk to because he was living, come out back and forth between the hospitals. So there was it's not someone he could talk to and learning. He felt like. So someone asked me, why is it that he never wrote a sefer? It was had so much to share. Tremendous. I mean, there's going to be shiurim. His wife, Kenai Nahara, they're of means. She became a lawyer, a very successful lawyer. So she's going to start having a chevra put together, a farm, and they're going to be popping them out. Literally, I'm not joking. They're going to fill up a couple shelves of svarim, and they're going to be geschmacka Torah. It's geschmacka guy. So they asked me, why didn't he print a sefer till now? I asked him, and he didn't answer. He says, I don't know. So the person who asked him asked me, and I said, because I knew him pretty well, I said, I'm going to tell you. I believe. Because when you're holding in it and you're living it, why would you write it? You're right in the middle of it. You're living it. You write it over afterwards because you're kind of done with it. Now let's shelve it and let's write it down. I said he never shelved anything. He was constantly involved. He was living it. But he only waited till he was passing away to start writing this stuff down. To start printing it, I should say. The year goes by. I tell everybody, it's a warning. Life goes by And every year goes by very quickly. We are holding now at the end even of Color War. We are almost by Purim. And in the beginning, I said, this is going to fly by, chaperine, do stuff, really get busy. And everybody's saying, yeah, okay, tomorrow, I'll do it. And they push it off. I'm going to start next week. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start this afternoon. I'll start tonight. Always pushing it off, kicking the can down the street. And I told over how my wife's brother, when he was a little kid, he used to drink his bottle, and they used to say to him, when are you going to stop drinking your bottle? And he said, after Pesach. After Pesach. Little kid, after Pesach. Finally came Pesach, and they said, when are you going to stop? He goes, after Sukkot. That's right. And that's what we all do. We go, I'm going to start later. Gentlemen, soon you turn around, later's over. You pass later even. So we're like really, it's like you're watching the last bits go down the drain. You know, you sit in the bathtub and you watch it go. Gurgle, gurgle. That's what, we're getting to the last swirls. Got a chaperine. Don't waste your time. There's lots to do, a lot of opportunities. Use them, because before you turn around, you're not going to believe this. It flies by. The year flies by, the Zman flies by, life flies by. You know what? Time flies when you're having fun. Time also flies. Even when you're not having fun, time flies. Before you turn around, people are at lousy, schreckliche challenges, and it still passes. And it's gone, and the whole opportunity's gone. Gentlemen, even when it stinks and it's lousy, you gotta use that moment to grow. Even when it's not geschmack, you grow. You have opportunities. You came into this world for opportunities. You came to the yeshiva for opportunities. Use your opportunities. The time is just gonna, it's gonna, like I said, you're gonna see, oh wow, and they go, wow, I can't believe it's over. I can't believe time is flying by. Yeah. And what did I accomplish? Now, you just finished Gemara Tainus, you said, right? That's great. Finished the whole Gemara. How long did it take you?
About like 2 months.
2 months. Wow. What's your next one? Megillah. Yippee. See that? Can chaperayim before you turn around, a whole bunch of Gemaras. Even if you learn, Shmuel, you're almost done with, how far are you to Mikvos? Which? Third parak. Wow, those are hard. It's a hard stuff. You need, and need at night? And Taruvas in the morning, and yeah, that's right, he's chaperayim. You got a chaperayim. And you walk away, you feel accomplished. I was talking to this gentleman yesterday that was here with his son. I said, the goal here is accomplishment, so people feel accomplished, because later on, if you're not feeling accomplished, you'll feel,
miserable.
Yeah. It's interesting, he told me over, his father was Rabbi Meir Zlotowitz. Does anybody know who?
Yeah, the guy from Art Scroll that says every the chairman.
Yeah, he started Art Scroll. It was his place. Art Scroll was Rabbi Meir Zlotowitz. No one had. Can you imagine? It's not such a difficult concept. Like, let's write. Because you know what? You know how we say it's not difficult? Because after someone already did it, then you go, it's not such a difficult thing. It's kind of simple idea. Why didn't anyone do it beforehand? And other people copied him after. This one started to make their version, and that one made that version of the Shas. And so you got the Schottenstein, and you got this one, and you got, now what are the others? You got a bunch of others that everybody copied. There's even one online. What's that thing called? Safaria. Mesifta. Everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon. However, take a look. Imagine a simple concept, a simple idea, and now how many, I decided to myself, before they came to visit, I started looking over, I didn't even know who they were. I said, Zlotowitz. I bet that they're somehow related. He's related to Rabbi Meir Zlotowitz. So I look up, I say, oh, wow, yep, he's related. So I went in my office, and I go, let me see how many Sfarim, just in my office, are printed by Art Scroll. Just sitting in my office, and I have lots of different Sfarim. And I counted 30 Sfarim that were made by Art Scroll, different ones, 30 different ones. Wow, it's amazing. So that's just my little office. Here in the base management, we got tons. And you go around all the shuls and all the yeshivas and the schools, and people's homes. It's unbelievable. So all these people came from his idea. So Rabbi say, everybody here, can you imagine if everybody here in this room did an idea? I mean, we'd have the rooms filled with all kinds of chedushim from people. But you have to do it. And you have to get into it. And it has to have meaning to you. So chaparayim. Take the opportunity. You have lots of opportunities. Use them. Right now, you don't have to create things. Right now, you could just... And by the way, Shimon has been putting the chazara of the shiur online. And questions and all these different things that guys are doing. These are monumental. Nobody else is doing them. Use the opportunity. You have so many chances, so many opportunities. Here's a boy in yeshiva, David. What have you finished? What are you up to now?
Different Shabbos.
A different Shabbos farm. Okay, and then you did those 4 volumes from Rabbi Ribbi at Sefer, right?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, there's so many things. Imagine you walk away and you know this stuff. You chazed it. You went over it. You know it. You can walk out of here like people go. There's people in yeshivas and in koilim, and they learn this Gemara and that Gemara, and that. In the end of the day, who is the one that everyone really ends up speaking with, mostly? You guys don't know yet because you're kind of like not in that world.
The guy that knows all of it.
No, not even. The guy who knows halacha. The guy who knows halacha. That's the guy who everyone's going to ask, because in the end of the day, they go, halacha ma'aseh, what do I do? I was with the big Rosh Yeshiva. I couldn't believe it. And we were somewhere driving, and he says to me, he goes, I don't have a suffix about davening, the mincha, this, that. He goes, I don't know what to do. I said, I'm looking at him. Meantime, I was thinking it says this, but that's not halacha. But I didn't want to make a whole thing, embarrass him. So he goes, you know what? Do you have a phone? I go, yes. He goes, I don't have a phone. I said, sure, of course. So he goes, let me call my Rav. I said, wow. So he calls up his Rav. His Rav, who he calls his Rav, is a young guy. A real young guy, because I know the guy. He calls him up and he says, I wanted to ask the Rav, what's the halacha about this? I go, it says in the Mishnah Berurah. So he goes, Shkoyach, thank you, Rav. Now, this big Rosh Yeshiva calls up the Rav. In the end of the day, who did he call? The halacha guy. It still happens to even the biggest people. So Rabbi say, learn halacha. Learn things. I'm not telling you not to learn Gemara. Don't worry, that's a great thing. You got to be learning Gemara. It all comes from the Gemara, which all comes from the Mishnah, which all comes from the Chumash. So Rabbi say, you got to learn it all. But simple, the guys who feel like I can't do this, learn halacha. He's like reading through these farm over here. It's like, boom, 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 knocking him out. Take yourself a goal and finish it. You will feel so great, accomplished, and go from one thing to the next. But don't waste the time. Like I said, it's literally, you're seeing you ever see like one of those sand timers? And you're down to the last little bits of it, and you had a whole big thing in the beginning. And now it's down a little bit. Chap arayim. Think positive. Have a great day.